You ever play a game so ancient, a game so old, that in order to shoot your gun, hold right trigger, right bumper, and a face button? That happened to me in Metal Gear Solid 3 15 years ago. And ever since then, I decided to never touch that game or any in the franchise ever again. Until they decided to remake it where you could use the left trigger to aim, right trigger to shoot, and thus concluded my 15-year struggle to complete Metal Gear Solid 3. These are my findings on what I missed out on.
Metal Gear Solid is a stealth action espionage game, but what I first fell in love with is what inferior games would just gloss over. You need to eat. Sure, you are spying in the forest of Russia with just your trusty knife and a sleepy gun, but the bulk of what you'll be doing is making sure your tummy is full. You get hungry, so you need to look around for anything that is edible, like rats in sewers, role-playing the average Floridian. Ruin the movie of Bambi.
Pretty tasty.
And use the corpse of your enemies to lure in more food.
I could go for seconds.
But eating all this food isn't just to make you jealous. Unlike in survival games, it actually serves a purpose. When you get exhausted, your aim will slip and you will miss your shots. It's your main source to heal, so load up on those carbs.
Poison.
If you are hungry, your empty stomach will literally alert the enemy.
Huh? Who's that?
At least now I understand why the game is called Snake Eater.
Pretty tasty.
Now, I didn't know much about the creator of Metal Gear Solid, Hideo Kojima, before playing this game. I've only known he has a not-so-secret admirer in Jeff Keighley.
Did you know that Jeff Keighley's friends with him?
Yeah, but does Kojima know that?
But I didn't know, behind his auteur demeanor, he is just a horny motherfucker.
What a beauty.
I'll be honest, the beginning of the story had me dozing off as they explained the Cold War and the Cuban Missile Crisis like I was back in history class. But around a certain point, I really started paying attention to the story for some reason.
The name's Eva.
Yeah. Okay, now I get the appeal of the game. I get it. Yeah.
This girl was smoking hot.
But since games are now for everyone, let's not forget the twinks. The villain can detect his commanders by the feeling of the nutsack.
Are you touching your dick with your dirty hands?
This can't be happening. Who are you?
So you don't get bored while playing the game, you will stumble upon more great art handpicked by Hideo Kojima himself while exploring, but enemies will try to interrupt you, and so you remove them so you can get back to the real fun.
What a face. What a body.
Motherfuckers wanna make a statement.
You know about the rule of cool? It's when something happens and it doesn't need pesky exposition to explain why. That is the rule of cool. Like, here's a guy that has a flamethrower and a giant jetpack. Why does the fire suck into his head right before he dies? Because it looks cool.
Behold, the flames of fury. The fires of hell will purge me clean.
Why does this guy control bees? I have no idea, but it is cool.
My honey bee.
Why does this tank have jetpacks and drills but move like a dog that just wants to be petted? Because it looks cool. Why do they have flying trash cans? Because they are poor. Why won't Snake have sex with Ava? Because he is not a tool.
You look angry and disappointed, as if you're having minimalist intercourse.
How do you snipe a sleepy old man with bulgy eyeballs? You find him with night vision goggles because you ain't no fool. What do you do when Ava gets wet going through a waterfall in her motorcycle that forces her to undress? You drool.
Can't even eat a snake during a mission, huh?
I wouldn't mind eating you.
Now I know the real reason why it's called Snake Eater.
You're not the only one.
How do you beat a boss that is inside your mind? You drown yourself inside a pool and then revive yourself with a pill that was told to you in military school.
We'll meet again someday.
When Ava betrays you after you sleep with her, that is just cruel.
First of all, I have to apologize.
Stealth is critical to the Metal Gear Solid franchise, and I will admit I'm not the best person when it comes to being sneaky. I struggle to pay attention to things around me. I make mistakes and was worried that at the start of the game they mentioned you can't alert the enemies and it would be required to be stealthy. Thankfully, right as they mentioned this, you can turn around the corner and find an SVD sniper, and my fears of failure were gone. The funny thing is, you get more tools for lethal than non-lethal. For stealth, you get a suppressed tranquilizer pistol, a sleepy cigarette spray that is unreliable, throwing capture snakes to poison thine enemies, cardboard boxes, play freeze tag to potentially interrogate individuals by choking them out, and of course, porno magazines.
The fuck? What sort of paper is this?
It's the kind the prisoners use.
Now, for the lethal weapons, you get a fork, a suppressed 1911, a revolver, an SMG, the non-American rifle, the good old-fashioned American rifle that can be upgraded with a suppressor, that wonderful sniper, a shotgun, a light machine gun, claymore, TNT, normal grenades, phosphorus grenades, an RPG, and of course, flak cannon. So as a stealth game, I like it.
You know, for being imprisoned for a crime I didn't commit.
I don't really play games for their stories because it takes a lot to get me interested and invested into them. But after playing the game, I finally get it now. I've always known that Hideo Kojima is famous for long-winded stories. That has been a reason I have stayed cleared of all of his games. Side note, I don't count Metal Gear Rising, that wasn't a story-driven game outside of a few iconic scenes. If you can get past the boring me to death, grainy, blurry-ass PowerPoint sections front-loaded in the game, and at the times repeated exposition Stranger Things Season 5 style throughout the game, Metal Gear does have its charm. You have this hilarious goober called Ocelot that every single time you meet him, he's got a new gun to twirl at you like a kid wanting to show off to his dad.
We meet again.
What have you done? You changed the future. You've created a time paradox.
All the bosses you fight were introduced and then killed off in a way that they never overstayed their welcome, unlike the main villain Volgin that feels like a 12-year-old that throws tantrums and we already found out might be gay, but might actually be bisexual if he's getting turned on by this move. Why did they rip her pants like that?
This girl was smoking hot.
But to me, the most interesting character was the boss, Snake's mentor. She defected from America just to kick my ass, disassemble every gun I brought in, and break every bone in my body. But what could make someone betray America, what I believe to be the greatest country ever, right?
Why? The foibles of politics and a march of time can turn friends into enemies just as easily as the wind changes. Ridiculous, isn't it?
And just when she was about to get boring, she shows her chest, just like Avery did. But this time, it was different. I wasn't here to make a horny joke. I was glued to the screen for 30 minutes straight of no gameplay.
I gave up my body and my child for my country. There is nothing left inside me now. Nothing at all.
You know the thing I was so afraid I wouldn't enjoy? Hideo Kojima's writing. I was gripped to hear her story unfold. Even the blurry PowerPoints to save on budget were enjoyable. When it was explained why she defected, it felt more relevant now with what is going on with America than if I had finished the game in 2011.
She didn't betray the United States. Far from it. She was a hero who died for her country.
I don't know if fans like the remake and its changes. Some additions like the cover system were complete dog shit. The looting still takes forever, changing weapons still feels clunky, but the gameplay was improved enough to where I actually finished it instead of dropping it. And the thing that aged like fine wine, the story, is something that makes me excited to play more in the franchise. I hope they continue to remake the old ones because I want to try out the other ones. But there's one thing I want to leave you with. I strongly encourage you to get one of the funniest games I've ever played that is both a love letter and massive parody to Hideo Kojima on Metal.
Let's start from the beginning. How did you escape from that cell?
Piece of cake. I just had to write a note.
A note? Where'd you get the paper from?
I used toilet paper. I wrote the note with a rusty wire. Using my own blood as ink wasn't easy. The toilet paper tore under the pressure of the bloody wire. Those bastards gave us cheap paper. 1 ply, unscented, and unpatterned.
Why did you break the toilet? Why not grab the paper like a normal person?
You know how prison is. It's kill or be killed. And I wasn't going to be killed by some dirty toilet.